Catus, Maximus here. This time I'm just doing a little video about these genuine Stillson brand wrenches from the Erie Tools Works. Now, Stillson was who's credited with actually inventing the pipe wrench, what is essentially the relatively modern mechanics. That's the easiest way to say it. You know an older pipe wrench because they have this older bracket here. This is a 14-inch, a genuine Stillson. You can always tell because Stilson was always really put their name all over their wrenches. As a matter of fact, you wouldn't believe I got this for 12 bucks, but this is an older model with just a straight handle. But this happens to be an old 36-inch. Very difficult to find genuine Stillsons that are this large. And you know, Stillson was hilarious. Genuine Stillson. Stilson. Stilson. Stillson on that side. He just slathered his name all over these wrenches. The only thing that changed from the patent that was issued in 1869, that's 154 years ago, was that this additional bracket here was changed to be more of a one-piece design to make them a bit stronger. Rigid is who really popularized this style, but pretty much everybody made the one-piece design. Even the Erie Tools Works, they stopped slathering Stilson all over it when they stopped using this secondary rotate or rocking piece, and they were called, I think they were called the Pipe Master. Was the last of the wrenches that were pipe wrenches that were made by the Erie Tools Works. So anyway, I'm tired of muscling around this 36-inch, but it's pretty darn rare to find one of these large ones, and just wanted to show what the large ones look like. They just had really a pretty darn plain handle. The only thing that they did was forge out this end of it out of just a regular piece of steel bar stock, but nonetheless pretty cool, pretty heavy duty wrench. Talking about the mechanics, now on a modern one, these both work exactly the same way. On a modern one, the little spring is actually inside the body here, where on this one, this actually has two springs. We have one on the back and one on the front to really give it good action. So the deal with pipe wrenches and what made the Stillson so fundamentally different was not that it was an adjustable wrench, but the fact of having this jaw be loose. So what happens is you grip onto the pipe, and then as you put force on it, the lower jaw pivots inwards some, putting extra pressure, really biting in and reducing the chances of slipping, as well as having the teeth, as you can see, they're just slightly angled in the direction that you would use it, the working direction. So the teeth bite in and you get some extra pressure and really grips the pipes. And you know, you can use them on all sorts of fasteners. Square fasteners are real common for, holy smokes, you know, if these were patented in 1870, square fasteners were pretty common for, you know, 75 years, a good long time. So these work great on square fasteners as well. The biggest takeaway of them, even on these larger ones, is the fact that that carriage, if you put too much force, use a cheater handle or something like this, something like that on the carriage, what can end up happening is it can break right here. Usually it'll snap apart at the rivet, or this back part will actually separate. I have seen, and I should have picked up just for talking point, but I've probably seen a half a dozen Stillson old school Stillson wrenches where this carriage or this rocking piece here has been broken and re-welded. And so that's really the big deal, is just trying to make them stronger. What they did is they just integrated it as one single piece so that the load is being taken up by just a much larger cross-section of steel, as well as being simpler to manufacture because you don't have this extra piece. Anyway, that's the deal with old school Stillson wrenches. Smaller ones, they just have a stamp on them, and I think slightly newer ones, plus they have the forged handle. And really old school ones and large ones look just like this. I am going to put a little bit of oil on this. This one is a bit older because it only has one spring on the front here. This unit right here very well may be from prior to World War II. Easily could be I mean, this could be a century-old pipe wrench right here. But figured since I had a smaller, slightly more modern example with dual springs and a forged handle, as well as really old school, just box handle version, I'd make a video about the inventor of the what would be considered the modern pipe wrench. And I guess there's not a lot else to say about it, besides the fact that these are just kind of, you know, they were super popular and they've been sold for 100, you know, probably for 100 years they were making them like this. Maybe not quite that long, but don't ever overpay for one of these things. Maybe it's worth a few bucks for a really large one just because it's a large pipe wrench, but more modern wrenches are stronger. These are pretty strong too, but pipe wrenches are notorious because they have for the size of the handle, they have a very large jaw capacity. Like on this 36-inch, this jaw capacity actually goes up to 3.5 inches. And more modern wrenches are 4-inch jaw capacity with a 48-inch handle. So they've been kind of notorious for really stuck jammed pipes, or using them on large fasteners or various other prying or wrenching duties, bending stuff, that type of thing, where it's the reason they end up getting broken is just because that, and people use cheater handles on them. And before you comment, there are 60-inch class wrenches which don't actually have 60-inch handles. Yeah, this Chinese company Viver did send me this. This is an 8-inch capacity wrench, which weighs like 40 pounds. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just to give you an idea of how big these wrenches can get. There's an 8-inch capacity pipe wrench, and here's this 36-inch Stilson, which is dwarfed. So pipe wrenches can get huge. It is a pretty wild comparison, considering a 36-inch pipe wrench really is a huge pipe wrench, but something like the 8-inch capacity one, I don't know if you can really see that, is just, I mean, the jaws are almost 50% wider. They just get absolutely huge. Ugh. Anyway, really appreciate everybody who's been watching and supporting the channel. See you next time.